back with more Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is episode 10 of season 2. Very excited to continue, see what's going to be happening next. I think this is the halfway point of the season after this episode, and therefore pretty much halfway through the show. I think season 3 has one extra episode, I think it has 21, but we're basically going to be at the halfway point, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this season so far. I'm excited to see where the story goes next. Last time, Aang got to grips with earthbending properly, which is good. Zuko shouted at some clouds, which is not so good. So a lot going on there with him emotionally. And yeah, some really nice parallels, as the show often does, between Aang and Zuko, and like learning to face their problems head on or accepting their problems and stuff. So all good things there, apart from the angst, of course, because there's got to be plenty of angst in a TV show, and there certainly is in this one, but I'm here for it. So I'm excited to see where our journey will take us next, so let's just dive into the next one. Also, a bit of a note, I had my second COVID jab a couple of days ago, kind of feeling it, so I'm not at my best. So if I seem a bit like throughout, that's why. So just letting you know that as well. Okay, let's go.
Orchestra, huh?
Oh my god. What the hell? I love these things.
We need some intelligence if we're gonna win this war.
Alright, we'll finish our vacations and then we'll look for Sokka's intelligence.
It does make sense, doesn't it, to like take breaks when you're working hard.
Don't use the word pristine. It's one of nature's.
It's like when you study for exams and you're supposed to like take a break and maybe sleep on it. Right. Nice to meet you too. That's one way of doing it.
Which of the air temples do you hail from?
The Southern Temple.
Oh, splendid! Now tell me, what was the primary agricultural product of your people?
You spent years walking through the desert to find some guy's library?
This library is more valuable than gold, little lady. It is said to contain a
It's the intelligence Sokka was looking for.
knowledge, with the help of his foxy knowledge seekers. Oh, so this spirit has attractive assistants, huh?
I think he means they look like actual foxes, Sokka.
God's sake.
You're both right. Handsome little creatures. I'd like to spend my vacation at the library!
Hey, what about me?
I'm afraid that desert's impossible to cross. Professor, would you like to see our sky bison?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I feel like The Mandalorian kind of got some vibes from this, you know?
Are you the last of your breed? Oh, delightful! I only wish I spoke his tongue. Oh, the stories this beast couldn't tell. Shush, chatty monkey.
How dare you?
Shouldn't be too hard to find a place like this out here.
Unless it's buried in sand now.
There it is! That's what it will sound like when one of you spots it.
I did think like, hang on.
Down there. What's that?
Hopefully not a trap. Moses? It's the handsome fox thing.
That was one of the knowledge seekers.
You've got something against libraries? I've held books before, and I gotta tell you, they don't exactly do it for me. Oh, right. Sorry. Let me know if they have something you can listen to.
Yeah, do they have Braille in the Avatar universe?
What's up?
The exquisite mosaic handiwork of this tile-rendered avian symbol. Nice owl.
Right. I bet they're a hoot.
I know you're back there. Humans only bother learning things to get the edge on other humans. Like that firebender who came to this place a few years ago.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, who are you trying
Bloody
to destroy?
jowl.
To prove your worth as scholars, you have to contribute some worthwhile knowledge. Please accept this tome.
I have an authentic waterbending scroll.
Oh, these illustrations are quite stylish.
I do like when they bring little things like that back into it.
Oh, I know.
And I like that they've used an owl, because owls are wise, apparently, aren't they?
I suppose that counts.
It's a special knot. That counts as knowledge.
You're not very bright, are you?
Savage.
Enjoy
Like he was the one who wanted to seek knowledge, and he doesn't have anything to offer. Apart from a piece of string, but, you know.
But the sand is so loose and shifty, it makes everything look fuzzy.
Uh-oh.
Not that there's anything wrong with fuzzy.
Does that mean she's not going to send something attacking or something?
Darkest day in Fire Nation history.
Oh.
It's got a date at the top, but it doesn't say anything else.
I don't think you should be taking stuff.
Firebenders. They destroyed everything having to do with the Fire Nation.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's so unfair!
They want to reveal their
Just when I
weaknesses.
think I'm-
Whoa!
This robe is a true marvel, a mechanical wonder. It's a planetarium that shows that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to a planetarium. I've never been.
The sun is behind the moon. It's a solar eclipse.
Oh.
It's literally the darkest day in Fire Nation history. Now I get it.
Eh.
Something awful happened on that day. I don't know what, but I do know why. Firebenders lose their bending during a solar eclipse. Sorry.
That makes sense.
Oh,
I
interesting.
didn't think of what the lunar eclipse at the North Pole did to the waterbenders.
The Fire Lord is going down.
Mortals are so
Oh dear.
predictable. I'm taking my knowledge back. No one will ever abuse it again.
He's sinking the building. We've got to get out of here.
Oh, so that's why it was sunk in the first place.
You already know too much.
Oh, okay. This really has gone badly. Damn. Even holding that for like a second was damn impressive. Jeez.
We've got to get back to the
Damn.
surface.
I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are kind of the villains in this situation.
But we still don't know when the next eclipse is gonna happen.
What is it now?
Oh boy. This is all kicking off. I thought we were going to get a nice, calm, library episode.
We just need to check every day before Sozan's comet arrives. Because after that, well, try not to think about that.
I do like the idea that, like, the bending powers do have limitations sometimes. I think it does make it a bit more interesting, I think, doesn't it?
That's it! The solar eclipse! It's just a few months away.
Well, that's handy.
Got it!
Excuse me? No!
No! Stop sinking! Ah! I'm sorry, Appa.
Oh no! I'm stressed now. Don't call an episode the library and then make it so stressful.
I've studied northern water style, southern water style, even foggy swamp style.
What about Gangnam Style?
That's called
Oh, wow.
style. Learn it!
Knowledge really is power, I guess.
I've spent too long trying to find this place. There's not another collection of knowledge like this on Earth. I could spend an eternity in here.
Just go!
Or you could starve to death. Oh,
We got
God.
it. There's a solar eclipse coming. The Fire Nation's in trouble now.
Yeah, but Appa's gone.
Where's Appa?
Oh, buddy. I absolutely refuse. If you end there, I swear to God, I'm gonna... You can't leave me like that. Okay, very good episode. Also a very rude episode with that ending. It's literally left me hanging like that at 2 a.m. I'm furious. And it's going to be like a week until I can watch the next one. Damn, like an ending of an episode hasn't got me like that in ages, because that felt more cliffhangery than we've been getting for a little while, I suppose. But damn, that's interesting, and it could put the spotlight on Appa for a bit, which is cool. It's an interesting kind of thing to like take away like a key mode of transport for the team, but also a beloved member of the family. So I guess we need to detour like the hunt for Appa for a bit, which I'm here for, because it recognises his importance, and Appa is the MVP of the group really, because they wouldn't be getting very bloody far without him. So yeah, just that initial gut reaction from Aang as well at the end, just crying, kind of reminiscent to how they ended off the last episode with Zuko crying. Again, nice parallels. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. Very stressful. This got me quite stressed, I must say. And I don't know where that's going to lead. I'm hoping it's like they save him in the next one, then we carry on, because I don't want to be worrying about Appa like that much for multiple weeks at a time. I don't think that's going to be good for my health. So we'll see where that goes. But oh god, again, it's cool. Like, it seems like, okay, it's a one-off episode. They're going to go to this library. Things are going to go wrong, but they're going to get their information that they need. But then there's that extra element to it. Actually, like, why did those people exactly take Appa? What's their whole deal? I'm sure we're going to learn a bit more about that in the future. So I'm excited for that. And when they first appeared in that bar place at the beginning, and then they went off with the professor, we kind of skipped over that location very quickly, but this could be a chance to revisit that and revisit those people that were around there, and continue to world build this area that we haven't really properly explored yet. So that'd be really fun as well, even if it's at the cost of my mental health, worrying about Appa. But overall, I really liked this episode a lot. Like, the desert setting was cool, and I loved how this episode explored some of the limitations of having like bending powers and stuff. So Toph, being able to sense things and stuff doesn't really work very well around sand, because it just makes everything fuzzy for her, which I think makes sense. And then that didn't really allow her to be able to control the situations while she would have done normally when those people came to take Appa. And all of that while holding up an entire fucking library from sinking under the surface of the sand, which is pretty bloody impressive. And I must say, I struggled with Toph a bit in the last episode. I really liked her in this episode. Just the pairing, like the brief pairing we kind of got of her and Appa, I thought was interesting. Just actually hear her apologise for her actions also feels like a big step for her, because she was very unapologetically herself, and sensed her own justification in what she was doing in the last episode. In this one, she's like, I'm sorry, Appa, so she really did apologise for that. And I don't think you can really blame her in this case, because it had to be Appa or her friends, didn't it? Because they would have just been buried under the sand forever if she hadn't continued to hold that up, just showcasing how bloody powerful she is, which is very impressive. So I kind of liked that conflict with her, and I think that could maybe awaken some kind of vulnerability in her that we haven't seen. So that could be quite something to maybe expand on that, and maybe her guilt over this whole situation. I'm sure they'll find Appa and he'll be fine and everything. But that could mean some growth for Toph's character and stuff. Because she hasn't really been out and about in the real world like this. She saves to winning all her fights as the blind bandit. Being justified in a way for how she treated Aang with the teaching in the last episode, but now something's really gone wrong for her, and she may feel some guilt for that. So to explore that's going to be quite interesting, but a cool showcase of her powers, the limitations of them with the sand and everything, in addition to Sokka and his discovery that firebenders seemingly can't firebend when there's an eclipse, which is such a cool idea. I love that a lot. And it makes sense in the lore that's already been established. It presents us with a cool opportunity to get one over on the Fire Nation at some point, since the eclipse is a few months away. I'm assuming around summertime, maybe, because that's probably going to be like the end goal of the show. So that may give them, the edge they need to win the day ultimately. you know, if the Fire Lord's not going to be doing much if there's an eclipse during like the final confrontation or something. You know, that'd be a good time to strike. So I like that idea that you know, the Avatar, to be the Avatar, I guess, is to have a connection with all the elements of the Earth, and you know, water, all of that kind of stuff is kind of being connected with everything. So in turn, those very things that you're connected to can like affect, alter, hinder your powers. It makes a lot of sense. Like we're all kind of connected. We're all one thing, one being, one organism. To quote the guy in the swamp, I think it was. He was talking like we're all one organism or something like that. So that ties back into previous episodes again, which I really like. And that was also the first episode where we got a glimpse of Toph as well in Aang's vision. So I like how all these episodes, just little things like tie together. Just like Katara having that waterbending scroll she got in season 1, and she could give that to the owl as like a token, I guess, like a entry ticket to the library. So I loved everything with that, and just so cleverly woven together, this show. I just never fails to impress me. So really liked how all that was kind of playing out in terms of like the themes they're exploring, and the idea of the eclipse like stopping firebending from happening. I think that's really cool. So I imagine this is more set up, more so I think for maybe final confrontations and stuff with the eclipse and everything. But it's cool that we have that, and I do like Sokka's kind of pursuit for knowledge in this episode. He just really wants to get one over on the Fire Nation, understandably, because he has a bit of a vendetta against them, as do we all. So that was cool to see him kind of leading the charge, alongside the idea of them just being like, we need to take a break, you know, we've been going through some stuff, because I think it is healthy, isn't it, to kind of take breaks in the midst of all this training and stuff that Aang's been doing. It's often like when I was revising for an exam or something, I'd often like go over it in my head and then sleep on it, and I'd find that helped me actually retain the information because I'd slept on it and hadn't gone too up in my head about revision, like all-nighters or whatever. So I liked that it gave them a chance to go on a bit of a break. Ended up being probably one of the more stressful situations in their lives, granted, with Appa being kidnapped and then nearly being eaten by an owl thing with a very long neck, dangerously long neck. But I think owls actually do have really long necks, don't they? So that makes sense in terms of like it being a big ass owl thing, and you know, owls seem to be wise and stuff, aren't they? So that was an appropriate choice for like the spirit that resides over the library. The way they tied it back to it being the place where Zhao went in a flashback in season 1, where he was getting all that information as well. And that's one of the reasons the owl was like, bitch please, no humans here, thanks. And the idea that, you know, people pursue knowledge to get one over on their enemies, get one over on others. And I think that is kind of sadly true for the most part. You know, knowledge may be power, knowledge may be powerful, but it may also be completely incorrect. You know, you think of some of the stuff that you get taught in schools or whatever. You know, I certainly look back now on, you know, being taught British history at school or something, and they just make us out to be, oh, aren't we great and wonderful, when in turn, you know, in reality we were dicks. So just that kind of idea of altering history, altering knowledge, how that can be used to make yourself look better, elevate yourself, could be used as a weapon against someone, like Sokka finding out a potential weakness for the firebenders, which is great that we kind of have that development, because for the most part the Fire Nation in everyone's eyes are the villains. So I like that. But also these guys just invaded this library, betrayed the owl's trust, stole some of the stuff from the library that it's been trying to protect and it's been burned so many times. The fact that it was like, well, you've seen too much, gonna have to kill you now, now you've betrayed me. How many times must it have happened to the owl thing to have been worn down to that point where it just like turns murderous, you know, considering how calm and collected it seemed and in control of the situation it seemed when we first encountered it. Kind of makes you sad that it just happened all over again with it, and now it's completely buried. No one's ever really going to find that knowledge again, probably. So it's kind of sad because these guys didn't invade where this owl resides, and it's like, well, it's kind of sad that it got to that point. But a very interesting kind of design for it. I liked the like fox things as well that kind of helped it out. Some of them are going to be a bit annoyed now, aren't they, when they get back having found their knowledge, and they're going to get to that point in the desert and like, oh shit, it's gone. I guess we're never going to go there again, and their lives lose all meaning. So I feel bad for the fox things. And the fox things that are trapped in there and will inevitably run out of food and starve, just like the owl and the professor will. So that's something. Unless the owl does have the power to get out again, maybe it's happy burying it. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of dark connotations maybe if you think too hard about it, so I'm not going to. But I like the concept of like going to the library, finding this out. The fact that, you know, they did betray this owl's trust, and kind of fair that it attacked them for it. But they do mean well. But obviously, Owl Guy has been very much burned by people's past mistakes, so I kind of understand where they're coming from as well. So lots of different things and different viewpoints to consider there, which I found very interesting. And the fact that Sokka was the one trying to pursue this knowledge, he was the one who was really driven for it. And then when it came to like offering the owl proper knowledge, he gave them like a piece of string that he tied up. But we know that Sokka is actually very, very intelligent. It's just the tokens he has to display it are probably not in a physical sense, I suppose, where he doesn't have like a scroll, you know, saying, oh, I hereby declare that Sokka is a clever guy. But we've seen like he can invent some cool things on the fly. He had this idea to like work out the whole thing with the eclipse and stuff. And I guess that was one of the owl's only mistakes, was like, oh, you're not very smart, are you, to Sokka? Which I think is completely wrong. So that was the only thing I kind of disagreed with the owl thing on, really, in this entire situation, which is quite funny. But again, I will defend Sokka until my dying day, I imagine, for the most part. So yeah, I enjoyed everything with that. And the Professor, he seemed like a fun little character as well. I liked his sheer enthusiasm, but he also wasn't willing to be like, oh, I'm just going to pretend to be like super smart because you kids don't understand what I'm saying sometimes. He then went down to their level. When he was like praising the architecture and stuff, he was like, oh, cool owls. So he kind of, you know, made sure that they could understand like exactly what he was talking about and coming from. I thought that was quite fun as well. He seemed to have a level of respect for them, and his excitement over meeting Aang at the start of the episode as well. I don't know how I feel about his decision to stay there, but I guess he's been searching for that for so long, he's not going to want to leave it after 5 minutes, is he? So if that's his choice, that's his choice. Not a choice I would have made. I'd rather not live under the sand for the rest of my days. Have to keep the company of an owl that's really pissed off and only has one person that can punish for that now. So he's probably almost immediately eaten by an owl, but you know, at least he found the library he was after. So there you go. It was certainly the most exciting thing I think's probably ever happened in the library, so I will give it that. But yeah, considering what the episode was called, it was anything but kind of quiet and calm and collected, was it? So I liked that contrast. And yeah, just overall another really great episode. Very nervous about Appa. That's going to be stressful as hell. I liked the creatures they had on show with the owl thing and the fox kind of things. I really liked Toph in this episode, what they did with her, that kind of struggle, how they detailed some like bigger lore kind of things, with the eclipse and the sand affecting what Toph can do. All these little links like previous episodes, stuff like that, pushing the story forward a bit as well with potential development for Toph. Appa going missing is going to be like a bit of a side mission kind of esque thing, I suppose, trying to get him back. Or it's going to be an even bigger thing than I even realised, because sometimes they do that with the show and make things seemingly like small scale in comparison to the big story actually make a big deal. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with all that. But once again, another really great episode. I look forward to seeing where they're going to take it. Can't believe I have to wait a week before I can see what happens next. But yeah, we are now halfway through the season, basically halfway through the show. My goodness, what a journey. I can't wait to see what the second half of The Last Airbender has in store for me. But yeah, really great episode. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.